What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this show the best that it can be. Now, just as I said about the Eastern Conference in the NBA, the Western Conference, this Western Conference is going to be brutal, man. This Western Conference is going to be brutal as the new season kicks off this week, the 23-24 campaign. When I look at this Western Conference, it's going to be a gauntlet. It's going to be deeper than even last year. And last year was deep. But you got to start off with the Denver Nuggets, defending NBA champions. They had a hell of a postseason run this past season, going 16-4 throughout. Lost one game at home. And the former two-time league MVP Nikola Jokic showed that he's the best center in the world. Finished the season, should be recognized as the best player in the NBA, at least on offense. 30-point triple-double throughout the postseason, never been done before. And with a healthy Jamal Murray for the first time in 2 seasons, Jamal Murray is a big-time player. He has a hell of a jump shot on him, and he's rugged. He played tough, you know what I'm saying? And he's clutch. Michael Porter, coming off that back surgery from a season and a half ago, he said he should be healthy for this year. And Aaron Gordon played huge in the postseason for them. And then you got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to round out that starting five. What makes them so dangerous is that, basically the starting five, all of them pretty much average double figures. And they drafted some great young talent to further strengthen that second unit. And they kept Reggie Jackson, who can fill in for Bruce Brown, who they lost as a free agent to the Indiana Pacers. And they still got DeAndre Jordan to back up Jokic. So they're a tremendous team, and they're the defending champion. So until someone beats them, that's how they should be viewed as. But you got, like I said, even the bottom team, San Antonio improved with their rookie Victor Wembanyama. It's going to be hard to score on that team in the paint. I put it this way: it's going to be more difficult this year to score against the Spurs in the paint than last year and the year before last. And just his presence alone is going to make that team better. Houston Rockets got better, bringing in Fred VanVleet and as a free agent along with Dillon Brooks, and with the young talent they already have on their team, they've improved. Portland, in trading Damian Lillard in return. They traded for Drew Holiday, and then they acquired Malcolm Brogdon in another trade. And they drafted Scoot Henderson. They still had Jeremy Grant, and then Anthony Simons. And they brought in DeAndre Ayton, who I think was misused at Phoenix his last 2 years there, to fill in to replace Nurkic Jokic. And they're going to be competitive. So that the bottom teams, the teams that figure to be at the bottom of the conference are going to be better. Then you got the Phoenix Suns, who kind of showed what their second unit can do. That's the question mark for them, their second unit. But what they did their last preseason game versus the Lakers, and scoring all them points in that second half, if they bench come to play, Phoenix is going to be right there. They're going to be right there. Revamped lineup. KD, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and bringing in Bradley Beal. It figures that potentially they can challenge for the championship this year. Then you got the 2 LA teams, the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers have been revamping their lineup for consecutive seasons since they brought in LeBron James, and they brought in a string of young players doing free agency. But the question is, they're unproven players. Have they really improved considering who they lost during the offseason? Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, Lonnie Walker, and the like. And, remains to be seen. But nonetheless, they're in win-now mode. Let's see where it takes them. Clippers, the only question about the Clippers is health. That's what it comes down to. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they can stay healthy. They retained Mason Plumlee, the backup of Ivica Zubac. They re-signed Russell Westbrook. They still got Norman Powell. Terrence Mann is an outstanding player coming off the bench. Um, they still got Nicholas Batum, so it really comes down to health. And Coach Ty Lue said he's going to feature Zubac more in the post, and I think that's going to improve their offense, balance their offense to where they don't have to go ISO in the fourth quarter with Kawhi and Paul George and resort to shooting threes. So really, if the Clippers play up to their potential, they could go to the finals. They got the team to do it. Just a matter of health. So let's see what happens. Minnesota Timberwolves, they went to the playoffs last year. You figure Anthony Edwards, future superstar of this league, along with the additional talent they got on that team, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniel. They still got Karl-Anthony Towns with his shooting ability. And then Rudy Gobert. So you have to say going to the season, they're a playoff team. You can never count Golden State out. They got championship pedigree, although I do believe they lack interior presence. They really don't have no true center on that team. And I think that hurt in the series versus the Lakers in the playoffs this past season. But nonetheless, you still got the Splash Brothers. You still got Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins, who will be available throughout the course of the season. And they brought in Chris Paul to kind of, be that playmaker that they need down the stretch. So you can never count Golden State out, but we'll see what happens with them. Sacramento Kings, number 3 seed this year. This past season, they legitimate playoff team. Will they finish 3rd seed? I'm not saying they will, but they had a top-ranked offense, and I don't really see that changing per se, but they'll be ready in the playoff hunt again. Memphis Grizzlies, they did take a hit, losing Steven Adams for the year. They starting center due to that knee injury, and then they back up Brandon Clark, still recovering from that ACL, and then they're going to be without John Morant the first 25 games of the season. But they brought in Marcus Smart to replace Tyus Jones, and then they signed Derrick Rose, kind of be that elder statesman per se. So they'll still be competitive per se. And then I love the Utah Jazz. And what they've done. They showed that you can start over again and don't bottom out. So they got Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler, Jordan Clarkson. They brought in John Collins via trade. They still got Colin Sexton on their team as the guard. I like what Utah is doing, and they got assets to build with for the future. So they won't be no pushover, especially when they play at home. Who else have I left out? Oh, Dallas Mavericks. They're going to have a full season with Luka and Kyrie Irving. They've kind of revamped their lineup. I think they're going to have to prove it, though. They lost some players. They lost Jalen Brunson, and they traded Spencer Dinwiddie back to Brooklyn to get Kyrie Irving. So Dallas going to have to prove it, But Luka is a bona fide superstar, and he's big time. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, who have I left out? Yeah, I mentioned Memphis, Utah, and the 2 LA teams. You got Denver. Oh, the New Orleans Pelicans. They were in first place last year, 35 games to the season, and that was without Brandon Ingram over the previous month due to a toe injury that he suffered. I think that was during the Thanksgiving holiday, and Zion Williamson led them to that number one, as the franchise player, led them to that number 1 seed, and then he went down to a hamstring injury, and then the whole team was ravaged with injuries. Three-fourths of their lineup suffered injuries that kind of curtailed their season, but they still finished with a better record than they did in 2022, finishing 42-40. And Brandon Ingram, I think he's going to have his best season. Coming back from the injury last year, he averaged 28, 8, and 8. He's improved his playmaking ability. And then they got the sharpshooter Trey Murphy down there. They got the defensive specialist Herb Jones and Dyson Daniels, along with Najee Marshall. And then, of course, they got C.J. McCollum, who can get you 18, 20 a night. And then Jonas Valanciunas, who's one of the best, top 6, 7 centers in the league. So if they stay healthy, I think they can play with anybody. I think they match up with anybody at the end of the day. So that's my take on the Western Conference. Let's get this thing going this week. And until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.